All right, guys, we're going into Oxide here, representing Alpha X in the top right. This is classic. It's already eliminated a bunch of top-tier players in this tournament, despite just coming back fresh off his almost eliminating Zest, and unfortunately getting defeated there, but we know he's looking very promising. His opponent, though, in the bottom left, this is Haas, the Taiwanese cheese god, a bit of a cheeky bastard within his own rights. And they are, of course, on Oxide, which means this is a map where you want to go for a quick Nexus off one gate, usually. Classic does scout a little bit earlier. His probe tries to harass the minerals, but the probe does chase him off. Haas coming a lot later across the map. Classic wanted to. He could have actually gotten away with taking just one gas and putting a Nexus down at about a minute 25, minute 20. It's because this is such a late probe coming in for Haas. So Haas is prioritizing getting a bit more mining, being a little bit greedier, and assuming that his opponent will kind of expect the probe to be earlier and therefore will follow the standard 2 gas. So this is Haas kind of cutting corners, while Classic tried to scout earlier to deny the Nexus to be safe, and then ends up not even being able to deny it. So this is actually really cute. Notice he doesn't have a Zealot out, but Classic finished his Zealot. Classic was expecting to get blocked. Haas, being a bit more opportunistic, gets his Expo up. Now there's a pylon up at the front, so Classic could build a battery there as well, or he could just use the pylon to block the wall off and allow his Zealot into the base. Stargate goes down before Nexus here for Classic. Haas does cancel his pylon and immediately puts down 2 shield batteries. No, that's a battery there for Classic. Classic putting down 2 shield batteries. Uh-oh. Okay, Zealots and probes should be able to defend this just fine. Yeah, this should be a pretty easy hold, I think, for Haas. I mean, this is a wild attack, but doing this against Haas, one of the most experienced cheeses out there, seems a little questionable. That probe tries to get a kill, doesn't quite get it. Now, he does have to protect his Zealot, does Haas, but it looks like he's held on for now. Of course, unable to wall in because there's 2 openings, which means that Adept is going to cause him a little bit of trouble. Adept's going to get at least a few probes before this battery finishes in the main. Probes could go for a bit of a citizen's arrest, a bit of a block there. The Adept is chasing. Classic does have that shade to get out, but he's not microing it right now. Takes a 3rd probe. That's pretty damn effective, or a 2nd probe, sorry, not a 3rd. So we got 2 probes. Forces a bit of a response here, but he's committed a lot of buildings here. And remember, his Nexus is just starting. This is not the damage that he wanted. Now, he could try to hit these probes on that side of the Nexus and kite on back. But actually, wait, he's lost his Adept. Haas chases it down, kills the Adept, and then with the shield battery, should be able to win a 1 versus 1, especially if the Phoenix comes in and picks him up. Now, it is Phoenix versus Phoenix play, so we're going to see who has the larger Phoenix count. And it really is a matter of quantity over quality. Up until Phoenix range kicks in, and then suddenly quality does usually win out, and it's a drastic winning out. Because Phoenix range gives +2 range, it means you can kite the enemy Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix, one of the few units that can shoot non-stop while moving. So you can just kind of outrange them, stay out of range while hitting them, and they are completely screwed. Now, that's a very early 2nd Stargate for Classic, but he is going to struggle to get to that next step. That Adept does get picked up and go down. He needs the gas, does Classic. He's prioritizing his minerals for now. And only 1 Stargate here for Haas. So Haas, it's equal Phoenix count for now. He's going to get faster gases, is Haas. But there could be maybe a 7 or 8 Phoenix timing from Classic. So if Classic can use this to get just 1 or 2 Phoenix out a little quicker, it could be big. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't quite have enough. As it finishes, he's just shy of enough gas for 1 extra Phoenix to start up. There we go. Does start up now. This gas is very important. I mean, Classic is really riding close to that. You can see the 2nd Stargate a little bit later, but because Haas got those gases up a bit faster, I think technically he should be able to be a little smoother in his production. So just the faster Stargate alone does not guarantee Classic will be ahead in this. I have a feeling he'll be a little ahead, but I don't know if it's enough to overcome Defender's advantage. That is the fact that if he comes to the other side of the map, Haas's Phoenix are rallying out a lot closer. They build very quick, 25-second build time. You add chronos to that, it could be as little as 15 seconds to build a Phoenix. It's kind of insane. You've got to keep in mind that these Phoenix build so quickly. There's 1 Stalker and a bunch of Phoenix coming forward. The Zealot will see that. Haas has his shield battery in both bases as well. And he's going to go for a fleet beacon now. Guys, right now that is 6 Phoenix versus 6 Phoenix. 7th Phoenix is rallying across the map, but the 7th Phoenix will pop out in a moment for Haas. Haas needs to pull back. Haas, run! Oh, Haas with a little bit of an overcommit. Luckily for him, doesn't get punished, but keep an eye on that Phoenix count. Right now it's 7 versus 8. Almost identical economy. Fleet Beacon is way faster, though. Classic with a little bit more quantity. Haas going for the faster 3rd base and going for the quality with the Fleet Beacon as well. And the Phoenix, I mean, it's a risky, but he could move out to the middle and try to catch one of the rallying Phoenix. It's a risky maneuver, though, because he is actually down on the Phoenix count. Haas, the way he's moving his Phoenix tells me he doesn't know this. He's going to lose a Phoenix there. Oh, that's terrible. That's a disaster for Haas. He's starting a very fast upgrade. He's got to be more cautious here, man. Let the Stalker kill a pylon. It's not the end of the world. He's going to send a probe out right now to see if there's a third for Classic. He's like, I need information. I have no idea what's going on. Obviously, it's very scary if you don't go out and skirmish with them. What if your opponent cuts Phoenix production while posturing aggressively? They scare you into your turtle shell. What are they doing behind it? Twilight Council, DT, Shrine, you have no detection, you lose the game. That's why Haas is so eager to get some vision right now, because he's like, dude, what the fuck is happening on this map? Pylon's a fantastic spotting unit. His opponent only has one Stalker to clear them. He gets in there and he sees, okay, you've got gases on that third. Now, obviously, Onion Pulse Crystals, that's right, and Onion Pulse Crystals is the name of the upgrade for those who don't know. It's because your opponent cries if they have Mutalisks or Phoenix, and you get that upgrade. And here we go, 11 Phoenix versus 14. He's outnumbered by 3. But with the right micro, Haas can stack his Phoenix and take Classic to Dicktown. He's got only 15 seconds left. He's only got 15 seconds left. He's got to do it now. Oh, Classic. Only some of his Phoenix is shooting, but enough. It was enough. He takes a relatively even trade there, but he was already up. He took actually a positive by 1 Phoenix trade. He'd already killed one. So a good trade for him. Just closing the distance. That's the thing, is if they get on top of you, they move at the same rate and you're screwed. Now he's building carriers. So if you guys have ever wondered how you can throw a game when you're playing Phoenix, if you start playing carriers, it's a great way to throw the game. Carriers are horrendous against Phoenix until you get really high carrier count. In low numbers, the interceptors will die just as soon as they launch out. Now, you can kind of use a few carriers to distract and then go back into mass Phoenix production, which I guess is what he's trying to do. The carriers will use the interceptors just as Phoenix bait, because the Phoenix will overkill on the interceptors a lot, especially if they're stacked up. All the Phoenix will shoot an interceptor one volley, they'll shoot the next interceptor, so you can make the enemy Phoenix overkill. Problem is, Classic is not giving him time to get at that carrier. He's getting right in there and just killing every probe on this base. Haas realizes, okay, I got to go past and do the same thing to you then. We can just butcher each other's economy if that's the name of the game. The thing is, Classic's already on the way back. He could corner these Phoenix. Haas needs to pick up like 15, 20 probes and then recall home. But actually, Classic's just going to counter dive. Classic doesn't give a shit. He's like, no. All right, you want to trade? Let's trade. Let's trade. I have more Phoenix than you. I also got the jump on your economy. The Phoenix is going to try to recall back into the main base. He's got a carrier there. He's got some Phoenix there. Remember, guys, he's up 4 Phoenix, and I would always rather have the extra Phoenix count in this situation. Really looks like Classic is going to get the better of Haas here in this game. Especially that Zealot and that Phoenix there, killing a few probes on top of that. Yeah, I remember Haas used to be one of the guys who would actually very regularly a few years ago in a Phoenix war. His opponents would always be very defensive because he was such a crazy player. They'd be really scared, and he was very regularly swapping into DTs and catching them off, of course. That's part of why Forge goes down here for Classic. Getting a cannon in each base allows you to kind of survive that without having to react with an Oracle. Ooh, he gets one. Interceptor's going out to try and tank there. Haas is just going to dive on it a little bit aggressively. He's still, look at that, the Interceptors are gone. And now he's just way outnumbered. He's got to pull the Phoenix behind the carrier. He wants the carrier to tank if possible, and then use the Interceptors. But notice Classic keeps disengaging so that they retarget on the Phoenix, and he is crushing that Phoenix fight. Expert Phoenix control from Classic. And Classic, he is one of the most decisive, winningest Protoss players with that situation. There's a lot of players, I've seen Zest throw games from big advantages in Phoenix Wars because he doesn't quite micro those big fights properly. But Classic there understood that the big armor, the big hit point tank that is the carrier, if you go in, if you don't retarget or pull out of range your Phoenix, you're all going to just keep shooting that until it dies. And it could tank like so much damage and you lose the Phoenix advantage. GG, well played. Classic takes map 1. I'm going to map 2 of this semi in just a moment. Fueled and ready. You know who's keeping my passion fueled and ready? The cheesy Protoss in the bottom right. It's Haas. His opponent in the top left, though, looking so clean. And what a smooth return from military service to tip-top pro gamer almost instantly. The Slayer of Rogue. Back in that 2019 BlizzCon. This is Alpha X Classic. For those who don't remember, his last big tournament before going to the military involved making 8 Dark Templar, blinking them into the main base of Rogue, waiting on the edge of the cliff until his blink was ready, running in, killing the lair, and then blinking out. It was so sick. It was so sick. It was awesome. Oh my god, it was incredible. So classic, and that was the tournament where Rogue was being an abusive Swarmhost Nidus D-bag as well. So well done to him. Dark ended up Swarmhost Nidusing Reina in the grand finals anyway, which is the matchup where it's not even strong. So it is what it is. But yeah, guys, so Classic is looking like he wants to actually legit proxy here. Notice no warp gate there, but then he does start it. This is a Robo. It's a Prism 3 gate, guys. Ooh. Prism 3 gate for Classic. You're in here! You're trapped in here with me, says Classic. You can't scout, you stupid idiot. You're dead! Does he proxy another gateway, though, or anything? That probe trying to come in. Haas has to decide whether he wants to prioritize denying scouting or getting across to harass. He prioritizes denying scouting. That means it's even longer until he can realize there's a proxy robo, though. His probe did see no second pylon in there, though, so he is building Stalkers, shield battery in the main, and making a Stargate. The question is, does he go for the right units? An Oracle on its own won't be able to do much to a base that has a shield battery in it. And this Warp Prism, he's actually even going to go Immortal first. Wow. 4 Stalkers into Immortal, then Warp Prisms. This is a later attack from Classic, but it's going to have that big power unit in there, so this could be very powerful.
Thanks for the Bezos bucks.
Thank you very much, Squablol, for the Prime Gaming. Thank you very much. Your Bezos bucks are appreciated, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Free content, you know. At least use Amazon's money. Thank you. That's a full wall off at this point. Haas knows he's being all in. Now, he's not going to recall those Adepts because they're not the best fighting unit. He's already got a shield battery and a backup pylon, but that pylon does not power that gateway, guys. So Haas needs to build another pylon up here. If that one goes down, he may need to repower it. For now, though, he's building Void Rays, and he's got a Robo on the way to build Immortals. Yeah, I actually think Haas is totally okay right now. He's going to warp in a few units. Now, Stalkers do warp in. Time to recall, buddy. Ooh, he's just going to try and shade out, is he? Interesting. So he doesn't want to recall just yet. And that Adept is going to go off and hide a little bit. No, the Stalkers will find it. Okay, poking the ramp. Zealots on the ramp, though. Very powerful unit. Stalkers walk right past the Adept. The Adept could go back in and try to kill the pylon. This is a way of just forcing your opponent to warp in at home. You can also hide the Adept and block the Nexus. Sorry, guys. Really should be watching this fight. I didn't realize Classic was going to push the ramp. It's a brave move. Void Rays have not used their prismatic alignment just yet. I think Haas at this point is realizing he might be able to chase down that ramp. The Stalkers all very bruised, but of course, Void Rays can get volleyed down by Stalkers very fast. He's building Immortals and Stalkers. This is a Stalker killing army. Haas here is like, hey, are you elevatoring? And yes, he is. There's a shield battery in the main, though, so Haas can fight here and be totally fine. This is not going to be good for Classic. Classic is all in. I don't think this is going to work out. The Void Rays, though, a little bit too far forward, as is the Immortal there. Where's the battery overcharge? He doesn't have the energy for it, apparently. Oh, my God. He actually loses his Immortal, does Haas, but his Void Ray says, get dicked, Prism. Does it, though? He gets the Prism just barely. The Void Ray goes down, but so does the entire army of Classic. Even as Zealot warping in to say, you can't leave. You trapped my probe in earlier. I learned that one from you, D-bag. Classic warping in 3 more Stalkers and making a Twilight Council at this point. Classic as a player with a strong brain, a strong mentality. He's not tilted. He's not triggered. He's just going to say, yeah, went behind Dark Shrine. I'll try to make DTs. We'll see if it works. It probably won't. But I'll hang in here. I'll see if Haas makes a big mistake. It's Haas. Haas is not the most solid player, guys. He's very cheeky. He's very good at taking these smart strategic edges. He has been known to drop a few leads simply because he's not good at playing a standard safe defensive game compared to the tip-top pros. And oh, the Prism at 99%, unable to complete. Classic. Got to be a little triggered by that. That's a lovely snipe. And he can even just clear the Robo up. Nexus is on the way here. Those Stalkers going to be annoying, but he can just warp in a few Stalkers at home. In fact, does he even need to? He's got a Void Ray. That should be fine, especially with the shield batteries guarding it. Oh, he's going to try and force field it. He's going to try and force field. If they run in there... Okay, no, he doesn't end up doing it. And Void Ray does end up defending. May look to hunt down those Stalkers. And they're going to try and get the Void Ray. Classic here. A bit ambitious. He's trying to go 1 base blink up against a 31 probe Haas. And it looks like Haas is absolutely going to do this, guys. I mean, this is super sick, dude. This is actually super sick. That Haas is already tying the series up. I feel like we are definitely going to be seeing a series. And for those wondering, well, if you guys weren't around in Classic's heyday, you never followed him that much, he is a beast. How do we describe Classic to newcomers to the esports scene? He's just good at everything. He hasn't ever really had as many fans as Zest. He's not as handsome as Zest. He's not as good defensively as Stats. Well, sometimes he is. That's the thing. Sometimes he is as good at timings as Zest. Sometimes he is as good defensively as Stats. It's just that because he switches it up so much in a series, so much week to week, he's so flexible as a player and is capable of just doing what he thinks is strongest in the meta versus the opponent right now. And because of that, he just has this kind of, he's a, I don't know, do we call him like a doppelganger, a shapeshifter Protoss? He does what he thinks will win. He doesn't feel like this is my style, I need to do this. Haas usually sticks to cheesing. Stats sticks to taking 3-4 bases and turtling to late game. Zest always tries to hit mid-game timing attacks wherever possible, you know? I mean, this is kind of like, these guys are all well-defined specialists. Classics got excellent skill at every stage of the game. He will mix in his one-base cheeses like this game if he thinks it's a good percentage-based play to try and throw your opponent off in a PvP. Did it work out this game? No, it didn't. But you can see it's just part of his repertoire, and it was absolutely competently executed. It's just that Haas was so respectful. Like, Haas, whenever he scouts that you're one-basing, he is so respectful. He always double-checks to see if there's a Nexus going down, and then he will just one-base super hard himself, get the better tech choice out to be safe, even when he hasn't scouted your tech. He's so good at just playing mega safe, and he does it so well. He's taking a third as Classic's Naturals only got a handful of probes on it. And Haas seems to have this great understanding of like all of the one-base plays and how to deal with them. So I would argue against Haas. I don't really like Classic's build choice. I think with how game one went, just clean things up in a macro game a little bit, you know, going for your expand plays are probably going to be pretty good versus him. Ooh, battery overcharge? Doesn't need to. If those Stalkers went any deeper, they were going to lose lots of them. Oh my god, did you see that one? Part of that Stalker went rolling. He's going to lose even more to the Void Rays. Yeah. How do we describe Classic? I mean, outside of just things that literally have nothing to do with his play, but his physical appearance, Metapod, Chin Toss. Like, come on. We've got so many dumb names for Classic. But no, in terms of playstyle, I've actually, Classic has been one of my spirit animals over the years. I occasionally will look at how Stats plays and go, that's interesting and I can learn some things, but I will always copy Classics builds in the Korean scene. He was my Korean player that I would copy a lot. I learned PvT off him in early Legacy of the Void, actually, when I was learning PvZ off Neeb and Showtime, and I wouldn't really say I was learning PvP at all. I was just cheesing people. But yeah, PvT I learned off Classic. I really admire his PvT especially, so he's a great player, guys. Do not underestimate him. The fact that he's gotten so good. I mean, we keep going on about how good Hero and Gumiho are so quickly. Classic's already looking way more solid than those guys, and he came back a few weeks to a month after them. Now, it's going to be a Resonating Glaives all-in. It's a cute idea to try and drag his way back into this game, try to just overwhelm. None of these units do bonus damage to light. Void Rays, Stalkers, Immortals, all anti-armed units. Problem is the Adepts don't do bonus damage to these guys either. So the best way this could work for Classic, honestly, in my opinion, would be you shade Adepts in, you try to get some in the main, some in the natural, some in the third. You focus down the probes as much as possible, and then you go DTs behind it, and you try to do some sort of like DT base trade, because you're never going to catch up in army, man. Oh, no, you can't fight that many Immortals, dude. Yeah, I mean, he's so all in, he feels like he's got to do it. He's like, yeah, get the Adepts forward, tank the Immortals, tank the Immortals. He's actually taken a pretty impressive little fight, gets a few Void Rays, kills a few Stalkers, but the Prism will get blinked on. And even though he was killing a few probes with his Adepts, Haas, had pulled those away and ties up the series 1-1. Anyways, guys, this is actually Haas in the top right. And his opponent going for the earlier scout, it's Classic. Thank you, Commander Carrot, with 300 bits here. Aw, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate that kind message, mate. Lots of old dogs in these RTS communities, but we love this shit. So nice Progress here from Classic. Haas is not going to proxy a pylon this time around. So there's no fake proxies. Both sides are playing a bit more normie this game, guys. A couple of normies just going to go toe-to-toe. Alright, let's actually look at these openings. Warp Gate plus double Adept for Haas. Double Stalker Warp Gate for Classic. Classic cutting probes. Very early on, only 24. An interesting pylon positioning. He wants to get shield batteries over here. Because the thing is, if you put the Nexus there, pylons here, you end up fighting in a bit of a choke point. You can get force field fucked. He wants to have more room to maneuver on the right side of the Nexus. So this is actually... No one does this on this map. But Classic has just looked at this. He's like, why would you fight over here? You get fucked by force fields. Fight in the open and defend the choke point actually using a concave. This is really clever.
My man.
So I like what he's done there. Now he's going to chase that down with the Stalkers. The Adepts are trying to run backwards, which is interesting. Haas is actually just going to go back and use his Stalkers and Adepts to clear the pylon and then to fight across the map. Stargate on the way here for Haas. Haas is already up 2 probes and he's building a 3rd. So one of the things about these guys is even if he knows he's going one base versus one base for a while, Haas probes a bit greedy than his opponent sometimes. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're both like one base. Now, there is a faster expansion for Classic that went down right on the 3-minute mark just before 2:58. The Adepts are going to try to shade out the left side. Oh, Classic does hide his probe. Because the Adept shades got spotted going left, he hides on the right though. So look at this. Classic's trying to intercept those Adepts. Right now, he's like, okay, where are they? Where are they? And he needs to go home. He should not stay out here too long. Yeah, he does go home. Wise from Classic. Realizes that Haas is sneaky. Could have just rotated. He's building 2 sentries now. Now, Classic will not get any confirmation on that expand until he decides to send this probe in. But I think seeing a shield battery on the natural, he feels confident that it's down anyway. So Classic's just going to play assuming that's the case, and he will be correct this time around. Oh, that shield battery went down at the last second. Hot damn. Now, there's an Oracle on the way here for Haas. Does he build a second one? I don't think so. With the Twilight Council this early, usually you skip it. He's going to hit 150 gas in a moment, so we'll find out. The Adepts, oh, they commit to the Shaders. They were getting hunted down there. He's going to lose them. He's going to lose at least one. I think he loses both. Yeah. Oof. At least he sees the Twilight Council. Oracle does get spotted by the Stalkers, but maybe he didn't actually see it. And actually, he didn't see the Twilight Council. Oracle is going to go for maybe the main base. Main base does not have a shield battery. Oh, he goes for the natural. No, you got to go for the main. And actually, he does venture in and sees, oh, no shield battery. Sick. 1, 2. Does he take a 3rd on the way out? Yes, he does. Very nice. Revelates most of the units as well. So the single Oracle gets 3 workers worth of damage. Haas looking very good. Classic, though, sees a Twilight, sees an expansion, sees lots of probes, and he sees the Forge. Now, building a Forge under the Phoenix is always a little bit sus. Yeah, it's a fake. He might not even make an upgrade. He's going to build a gateway and try to do a blink timing on the 3rd. He might still make +1, but if you are super eager to show your opponent your Forge, or if your opponent's very super eager to show you their Forge, you should always be suspicious of it in high-level PvP, because the Forge is a sign of greed. It is a sign of a longer game. So you basically, if you want to do a timing attack, you want them to take a quick 3rd and you want to surprise them, you show them a quick Forge. Or if you want to sneak DTs, one or the other. They're both very sneaky. But notice, if he sees another hallucination coming in, what he's going to do is he's going to start +1 and chrono the Forge to make it look like he's upgrading it. And that way, Classic will go, oh yeah, you're getting upgrades. You're going to probably take a 3rd base. That's why he's sitting here ready to take a 3rd. He'll even take the Nexus because he's doing everything to give off the illusion of greed to Classic. Haas is being a cheeky fuckboy. He even starts +1 and chronos it ahead of time just to make it look. Now, there's no sentries in this army, and that is obvious. If Classic pays close attention, there's no sentries. That's why the Stalkers should have been spread so that he could kill the Phoenix without showing his whole army. If you show him all of those Stalkers, I would actually be very suspicious as Classic right now. I'd go, wait a second. Classic does not have a Robo. He drops one now. It's too late. DT Shrine's already almost finished. It might be too late. It might be just in time. So that's a really good read by Classic. He catches the Oracle. And I mean, that's actually an impressive read. Because I say that I get to see everything. I say I would be suspicious. Yeah, if I was paying close attention and really thinking about everything. But, I mean, there's a lot going on in this game. He's macroing. He's cleaning up an Oracle at the same time. He does drop the Robo. but it's not going to be finished when these DTs get in. I mean, they should find a lot of damage. There's no detection at all out for Classic. DTs, they turn around. He says, wait, that's your Robo? Oh, and Haas knows he's found the money, seeing that the Robo's not finished. This is a disaster for Classic, who's being tricked. Told you guys, that early Forge, and especially because the way Haas put it down, when he could see it right in his face, immediately I sniffed some sneaky Haas bullshit, man. I love that a Forge, the sign of greed, is actually a sign of cheese in high-level PvP these days, if someone shows it to you. Stalker's coming forward. Haas, get out of there. Good pullbacks for Haas. He's just trying to keep his third alive if possible, but he needs to warp in DTs. That DT goes down. He needs to warp in a defensive DT, I would argue, to keep his third alive. I mean, he's so far ahead on probes, I guess he doesn't need to keep it alive. Haas has got to be careful on this micro. Classic desperately trying to do some damage. Haas might just have the numbers, though. Even if he trades evenly, it's good for Haas. Look at the micro from Classic, though. But I think with the reinforce and no forward warping, he's in trouble. Oh, the third base is going to go down. Oh, he's got to heal it with the batteries. If he heals it with the batteries, he might be able to do it. But Haas, meanwhile, defends the third base. The DTs, they get one more Stalker. They do go down. He keeps his third base alive. Well done, but so does Haas. And Haas, he can warp in more Stalkers and go across this map. He's dropping a Robo. That's his insurance in case Classic goes DTs. Transfer those probes over, buddy. You've got a third. Time to make use of it. You've got a giant income advantage if you can transfer these. Haas. Haas. Come on, buddy. There we go. A little slow to take advantage of that gigantic income lead that he should have. Obviously, his income is going to be a little lower while he's transferring, but then he will be a little ahead. Main's a bit undersaturated. Natural barely saturated. Third's barely there. Round 2 of Stalker attack coming down his left side. Haas does blink at the right time to dodge the volley, but the blink on top gets him anyway. And Haas instantly counters. Just blinks forward and says, let's trade, dickhead. No shield batteries on this base at all. Does lose a Stalker on the retreat. It's a very close situation, but +2's on the way, and the gateway count advantage is massively in Haas' favor. Not only up 11 probes, but he's got a 4th on the way. He's up in that unit count. I mean, he could even send a DT in if he wanted, but wisely, Classic has left an observer at home. He also knows there must be a proxy out here, and he must have saw it with a hallucination. So he comes in, kills the probe, will then take out the pylon, then the DT shrine, then the gateway, of course. Stop them warping in defensive units with the pylon, kill the tech, and then get rid of the gateway just to clear up their vision, because why not? He might not even hang around, actually. Killing the DT shrine is worth, though. Haas here is probably just going to go mass +2 blink stalkers for the kill, I would imagine. He still does not have a warp prism, and losing his forward pylon's a bit of a bummer. So I think Haas has taken a little bit longer to get across the map than I really expected, and there's no reason for him to push until that warp prism is ready, so we'll see exactly how he does it. For those of you, people were still discussing Trap versus Classic there in the chat. I mean, this looks like Iron Haas should be able to just barrel him over. It's not over yet, but it looks like it will be. Immortals and Zealots, good comeback units, but Charge isn't ready, so I think this will kill him. And oh, he just gets rid of the Nexus so fast. He tried to battery overcharge and heal it. Good micro there from Classic, but back to 2 base versus 4. Zealot Charge isn't ready. Nice pick off. Keeps the Prism alive. Well done. So yeah, back on that point, I mean, Trap's the best Protoss in the world, and he has been the most consistent in the last year. I didn't realize that he won Next, actually. I didn't watch much of Next, so that was the one tournament I didn't get to watch too much of. But he won Next, and he did win TSL. I forgot about that. And all the Super Tournaments? I thought he only won 1 Super Tournament. See, look at me rewriting history. I guess it's just because he's choked in 2 GSL finals in the last year, well, Season 1, actually, he choked versus Maru in the semis, and then he choked versus Dark. It wasn't massive chokes, but it was definitely uncharacteristic, and he played quite below his skill level. Everyone plays below their skill level in tournaments, but Trap played well below his tournament skill level in the series versus Maru and the series versus Dark, Season 1 and Season 2 this year. So that's kind of, I guess, what's freshest in my mind. But you're absolutely right. The Trap is the best Protoss in the world, guys, and I am not arguing against that. He is the best, most consistent. But could he stop these guys? Well, if he was in Classic shoes, no, he could not stop Haas. Haas has more Stalkers than you've ever seen in your goddamn life. These Immortals trying to hang on there, but they all get sniped down. And it's just a numbers advantage. It's so out of control. And when you're this far out of the numbers, just pure Stalker, an absolutely legitimate way of just going through overwhelming, powering over your opponent. Surprised he didn't blink on that Immortal with everything, but it just dies anyway. Unsupported Immortal, not an issue. And notice the way the micro works versus the Zealots. Just picks them all off, blinking back weak Stalkers, and now he can just blink on top. No, he's still kind of kiting, still being a bit cautious as Haas. Has a lot of damage Stalkers, so he doesn't want to derp it. Come on, man. Blunk him! Run in there, kick that Tiger in the dick. Come on! Classic hanging on like an absolute champ here, guys. Really impressive attempt to claw his way back, but Haas. Sneaky DT tech, tricks him with the Forge, skips sentries completely. Well, only needs one more game to seal the deal. He's looking beastly. And I'm telling you guys, he dominated nice in this season of DreamHack Masters Taiwan. This is Haas. His opponent in the top left needs to win the next 2 maps in a row. What an amazing return to pro gaming he's had so far. Immediately picked up by AlphaX. Such a great team. Is he able, though, to take down this strange creature that stands in front of him? It's AlphaX Classic. People were discussing why in that previous game Haas stopped attacking the third Nexus with his DTs. Yeah, I mean, Classic could have healed it. So rather than banking on Classic not looking at it for another 7 or 8 seconds, he was like, oh, these warping in Stalkers can't blink away. Let's get a free kill. White and Nerdy. Oh yeah, that was a great one. That's like the Weird Al Classic, right? White and Nerdy. Such a good song. Trying to catch me white and nerdy. Weird Al's fantastic. So both sides have gone for very standard openings. 2-gate versus 2-gate this game, guys. And I really like 2-gate versus 2-gate a lot. Personally, I'm more experienced with it. I understand it a bit better than the 1-gate expands. I'm pretty bad on those maps. That's definitely like my area where I need to study up. I did a deep dive on PvP on one of my days off a few weeks back and kind of really learnt a lot about this matchup, but I realized I focused way too much on these 2-gate maps, not on the 1-gate expand maps, so bit of a blind spot for me and something I've got to fix up. But these guys seem to be playing a lot of these maps. Classic goes for the pylon block, but the Adepts hide. Did you see that, guys? The Adepts avoided the vision of that pylon. Sneaks him across. Another 2 Stalkers on the way behind it. 2 Stalkers coming out for Classic. Now, Haas needs to shade again immediately or he's going to take a lot of damage. Ouch. Classic immediately turning around, though, because, of course, he doesn't want to let the Adepts have a party in his base. Nice cancel by Haas, who... Ooh, he's going to find the probe. That's actually a very good pickoff. This means Classic won't have any vision on his side of the map. So Haas, very happy to catch that. He's going to shade across, look for some future pressure. Now that's... Oh, he was going to do an 8 Stalker pressure. But now he doesn't have the forward pylon. Classic was going to build a pylon down here and warp in Stalker number 7 and 8. You guys know that's a Classic build. I used to do that for a while a couple of years ago. It was my standard PvP opening for a while. It's good on these shorter maps with no ramp or anything. But is it going to find it here? Well, the shield battery's not on time. He might just kill him. Haas's shield battery 6 seconds late. Uh-oh, Haas is dead, I think. Uh-oh. Oh, no! Yeah, well done there by Classic. Now, okay, he does trade a Stalker for a Stalker, but the damage output is so much greater for Classic that already the battery energy is gone. Meanwhile, the Adept's unable to find anything. He's got to recall those right now. Oh no, he doesn't recall them in time. Now, there are 2 more Stalkers coming in. If he could save the battery, that would be pretty big. Classic goes back in for it. He will take an extra volley or 2 because of that, but can Haas actually punish Classic? Ah, he gets stuck on the corner a little bit there, but Haas not able to capitalize. That's 8 Stalkers coming across the map. Normally, this is meant to hit at about 405. Obviously, he warped in Stalkers at home to defend the Adepts, so it's going to be a bit different. Proxy DT coming up here for Haas. That means he's going to have a quick third gateway at least to help him in the follow-up. But right now, 5 Stalkers versus 8. These are not odds that I like here for Haas, but... Oh, he gets 2-shot there. He does answer with his own and cancels his battery. Great micro by Haas so far. So really, really good in that. Nexus can tank a fair bit, guys, but 2 more Stalkers coming across. Classic doing a beefy 10 Stalker pressure. DT is warping it on the other side of the map, but it's a slow warp in and the Robo's almost ready. If he builds an Observer straight away, he's fine, and he will do that. The DT being invested in just to keep the base alive, not a bad idea, I think, for Haas. I mean, you might be like, dude, but he could have killed him with the DTs. I think Classic was going to build an Observer anyway, to be honest. Classic knew he was missing something. He said, I haven't seen an Oracle. Like, I know there you've got to have invested in something else here. And that DT is going to go down, man. So he loses a DT. That one does pull back, but he keeps his Nexus alive. So Haas is actually still in this game. Now his DT needs to dodge the Stalkers and come back in for another backstab if these Stalkers come across the map. The problem for Haas is he has no vision, so he has no idea when that's happening, which means he's bringing his DT home. And with only these 2 batteries here, I mean, he can fight here with healing. He's trying to build one more. He's got to do nothing but build Stalkers because that is 13 Stalkers. They will one-shot him, and I think he's just going to die. He needed to have already warped in some units. He's going to make an Archon. I guess that's a pretty good unit. Oh my god, he's warping in some Zealots as well. Trying to get back to the batteries. But look at this. Classic's already just pushing in and causing him trouble. Oh man, this is such good play by Classic. Classic doesn't even have Blink on the way. That's Haas's Blink that's incoming. But look at the way he damages that Archon. He's picking off the Zealots from out of range, just utilizing the range of these Stalkers and realizing can't really get punished for that right now. Classic does put so much pressure on that Haas even hits the supply block. Oh no. 4th and 5th gateway are on the way. Now he's going to have Blink so much faster. That is an advantage, but an Immortal is almost out. +1 upgrade on the way. And he's up 6 probes. Classic building advantages upon advantages. And I wouldn't actually mind him taking this 3rd base since he's got the Immortal-focused slower style. Yeah, I think the front 3rd might be better, whereas going out to that 3rd is better if you've got more Stalker Zealot that wants to fight in the open area. Immortals, Archons are going to do better taking a triangular 3rd. And that might just be what Classic does every game anyway. Haas gets a kill and blinks out of there. That's a good trade. One of his Stalkers barely escaping with 3 hit points. Drops the 3rd Nexus as well, and it's actually faster than the 3rd of Classic, guys. Haas can bounce back pretty well from damage, especially when you give him Stalkers. Now, I think the one thing is if he could actually run in with Stalkers, blink into the main, it would be great for harassment, or blink across this gap, pick off some probes, and then recall. Those are the sort of moves where if he does that when Classic is out of position at all on the map, it could do a huge amount. Problem for him right now is Observer sees everything. Observer sees he doesn't have detection. So Classic's just like, lol, okay, you're cutting a giant corner there. I'm going to make a DT Shrine to punish you. And yeah, and make sure if you don't add that Robotech or Cannon soon, you're screwed. DT goes in, Observer sees it. Oh, shit. There's no blink for Classic. Classic's not paying attention. Classic a little bit slow there. Warps in a Stalker, does not have a cannon in the main. DT is going to see if he can kill a few guys. He sees a DT Shrine! Oh, and he can even get a probe or 2. 1, 2... Very well done there. And he's going to send another DT in because he knows the Observer is going to go on that side. If he just hides here, oh, he goes straight in. That's actually a little bit of a mistake in my opinion. He gets 3 probes. Can he get number 4? Yes, he can. He's going to try to recall, but I don't think he can get it. He goes for the Reddit point Stalker. Still, he gets some probe kills. Guys, his 3rd saturated. Classics is not. Dude, I'm telling you guys, Haas is a fucking god at the moment in this match, and he's making the Robo now after seeing the DT Shrine. He's got a cannon going up in his bases. The Observer's going to see that now. Dude, he's on equal gateway count right now. There's no production advantage for Classic. Classic is up about 45, 50 seconds, maybe almost a minute in upgrades. It's a big advantage still for Classic, who's going to start adding Archons. But Classic stopped probing, so Classic's going all in. And Haas has a big worker advantage. If he can just make tons of Zealot Archon right now, as long as he's actually fine. If he just makes a ton of Zealot Archon, I actually think Haas is fine. There's a scary moment right now where he's down almost 20 army supply, but as long as he doesn't build any more probes, Haas gets the DT, by the way. His Observer came out, kills the DT. Classic needs to go right now. Classic has not probed in a while. He is completely all in. He's waiting for the Warp Prism, and he's chrono boosting +2, but that +2 is so far away. That's going to delay his attack by over a minute. So Classic's going for such a delayed 2-base all in that he starts probing. So late to be probing, though. Classic is caught in between two different focuses. Oh, this Haas should not be here. Haas! Oh, Haas is going in for a blind attack here. He had no business being on this side of the map, and that was a big misstep. Haas has done so many things so well, but because Classic was sitting back for so long, he actually assumed that Classic was the one with the bigger work account. What a nasty surprise. And now, having lost an extra bit of army, that's going to make it very hard for Haas to win the fight. Now, Classic is not in a hurry. He wants to wait another 30 seconds, and he sees the Zealot-heavy army. The more Archons he makes, the worse Haas' army is. He's already got a lot of Stalkers and Immortals, which can gun down the enemy Archons reasonably effectively from far away. And Haas is so Zealot-heavy, he kind of needs to get a big flank on this army. Does not have that much battery cannon or anything like that. Look at this positioning. He's going to split some units into the natural, and he says, come and eat my concave, dickhead. Haas! Oh, I thought he was back in this game. I really thought he was, but just didn't have the information to know that Classic was not probing, was just building up this giant attack. He's got a +2 versus +1 advantage. Look at that big old army. He shuffles the Prism south and warps in more Zealots. Now, the top side of the army, the Concave does crumble, but he's still got 4 Immortals, Archon, Zealots, and he should be able to shut down those Archons. For those who don't know, Immortals do beat Archons in a head-to-head, but of course, Archons are much better at clearing out masses of Zealots, which Immortals suck at. Immortals very good versus Stalkers and very good at killing other Immortals, not bad at taking out Archons because they're so tanky, but in like a small skirmish. But in a big fight, the Archons do tend to be worth more. They are the most important unit. Classic has shown that he is obsessed with a big Archon count. He's very good at using it. Ferries some units up there, doesn't let that force field of Haas deal with it. DT does warp in the main. And that DTs are actually warping in big numbers. Haas here using his DTs as well as he can. He tries to blink forward. The disruptor shot coming forward is well got a hit. But in the end, Classic there, reading that opening very well, and a great Stalker pressure catches Haas, cutting too many corners in the early game. All right, guys, it's game number 5. It's game number 5 of this series, and it is 2 maps each. In the top right, we have the dirtiest cheeser out there. He's a cheeky one. He loves his Dark Templar. This is Haas. And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side, solid as a rock, flexible, able to shapeshift into any form that is needed. He truly does follow the Bruce Lee quote, be like water, you know, adapt to your circumstances, flow in the path of least resistance. This is Classic. And he's definitely caught him out with some sharp pressures in that last game. That was a really good Stalker pressure to mix in. We don't see that build very much anymore, but it's such a surprising build. It's really, because you get your Nexus up at a good time, you still hit a very firm pressure, but it's not the same as a 3-gate Stalker attack where you're like, my Nexus is going down at 5 minutes. Second gateway does go down there. And this probe going to go on a bit of a circuit. Just seeing chat's reaction right now to me almost missing the game. Oh my god. Had a panic attack. Is it PvP all night? We had a lot of Protoss players sign up. Unfortunately, the Korean Zergs, all the top ones, don't play a lot of online cups, and Solar didn't sign up today. And we will see Cure very shortly, I would imagine. Actually, I think I just saw Create a Nice, which means Create a Beat Nice, which means it might actually be. These are really good PvPs though, because it's Haas. I gotta be honest, it is all PvP. 30% of the audience leaves the channel immediately. I think Create a Beat Cure, so I think we'll probably get the winner of that Create a Nice match against Haas. Next is, I believe, where we're at, as this series has gone for a long time now. Classic there does get a pylon from Haas. Haas puts down a pylon in his wall. Classic looking for proxies on the left side of the map right now, just checking. He's going to go out with a Stalker pressure. He seems to be really like, I need lots of units early, and he's actually going 3-gate Robo. Very early 3rd gateway, even before the tech. Wow, so Classic just going to be barreling across the map with that off just 23 workers. Haas is looking for a 4 Stalker expand. Now, Haas tends to cut corners here or there, and I think Classic has realized, you might be like, why would you all in versus Haas? Because Haas is a cheeky bastard. He's a cheeser. The whole point of cheesing players is there's always big holes in what they do, but they're relying on you not realizing what they're up to and not checking them. Now, this is actually a safer expand than I was expecting out of Haas. If he builds a shield battery, which he does, he's all good. The Stalker's 4 versus 4, so whoever gets the first volleys off wins that fight. Right now, Haas is kind of hiding 2 of his Stalkers, which means he might lose. Oh, Haas does okay there. As long as he keeps... Oh my god, this is so close, guys. Now, does Haas realize what he's up against is a big question, right? Because he's just being walled out. He doesn't really have any verification. He's building another shield battery in a row, but he's playing so safe. He's playing mega safe. Dude, I was like, Classic knows Haas has been cutting corners in his macro builds. He's been so cheeky in the last 2 games. Hey, let's try and pressure him. We got him last game. Let's once again hit him even harder than that last game and really catch him off. A Haas has a perfect read. Off limited scouting info, Haas is already reacting as safe as possible. He's not probing. He's stopped on 25 probes. He says, as long as I defend the Nexus, I'm fine. I'll add just 1 probe here or there. He's going to chrono an Immortal out. He's got his own 3rd gateway. He's got 2 batteries there. He's going to try and fight in this area. And as these Stalkers come in, the Prism can pick up the weak ones and pull them back. But the thing is, with 4 sentries, he can do 2 force fields, and Classic can't even engage him. Classic has to just disengage, right? Or go to the left side of the Nexus. But then, look, the Stalkers can just skirmish a little bit here, catch you when your Stalkers are on cooldown from having hit the Nexus. So this is actually, especially as this Immortal comes down the ramp, it's a really good fight for Haas, who hasn't even used his battery overcharge. He uses it now, forces this back. He even chases there, trying to get a few more hits. Oh, I would have loved double force field. He does it! But the Prism does save 2 of them. Only 1 Stalker goes down there. He's warping in more sentries, but that's kind of dangerous. Classic kept a lot of his Stalkers alive, guys, and the Prism is not here just yet. 10 more seconds. If Classic goes right now, he might be able to get the Immortal. Sentry and a Zealot warp in. Only a single force field. It can block the Stalkers from moving in too well, but it won't block everything. It's only a minimal amount of blocking you get with that. The Prism, though, does look pretty good there. That force field from Classic, kind of limiting the space of Haas. Now Haas, he's a while away from battery overcharge being back, guys, but he does do some nice force fields. He's doing some good Prism micro. His Immortal landed a couple of hits, but now it's trapped behind the force field. The angling for Classic is spectacular. 10 seconds till battery overcharge is ready. The next Immortal is almost here, but it's not here yet. Watch out for the focus fire. Watch out for the Prism. The Prism needs to stay alive. Oh, he dodges a full couple of volleys. The tail end of that fight, the Prism dodged 2 full Stalker volleys. Classic tried to be decisive, and he shuffled his Stalkers forward, and he focus fired a Stalker, focus fired an Immortal. Both got dodged by the Prism, picking it up, and the projectiles all whiffed in mid-air. Oh, and he loses the Prism, but that's fine because he's got 2 Immortals out. He counter-snipes the Prism. His Immortals slay, and Haas, with a spectacular hold of a very fierce attack, puts himself in a winning position. Immediately warps into Adepts for the counterattack, goes back to probing, shifts gears into economy. This is absolutely effing splendid. This is beautiful play. Okay, the Observer's there. Ooh. Okay, the Adept's there. Do take out a probe, but a little slow to move in deeper. I like that Shade, though. Classic. Yeah, he's got to chase the Shades. He's going to warp in a 3rd Adept as well to make sure he can handle it. At the same time, he's trying to shade Adepts in as well. Haas does block it, though. Haas does get... Oh, didn't quite sync up. Only gets 1 probe kill. Meanwhile, those Adepts do cancel their Shade. So not the greatest trade there for Haas, but you know what? Any trade's probably a good trade for him at this point. Haas, that natural surviving with only 250 hit points earlier, by the way. But look at this. He's got 2 Immortals. He's building a Stargate. Oh, did he see the Robo Bay? He saw the Robo Bay! Those Adepts did their job. So now he builds a Stargate because Disruptors are a big comeback unit. Classic's going for Disruptors. He's going to do a 1-base Disruptor all in, hope for a few big ball shots to win the game. By the time they get across the map, he's going to have Phoenix. Absolute hard counter. He can just pick up the Disruptors. That cancels their shot. So you wait till the Disruptors fire, then your Phoenix fly in, pick him up, and it just cancels the shot. It just whiffs, disappears into thin air. And this is a great position to be in for Haas. This is kind of crazy, guys, where I really think it's this thing where Classic going for such a decisive aggression, it can be a splendid choice. But Haas had a good read, and he was one step ahead strategically, because I'm telling you, dude, going into a macro game against Classic, he did not have a verification that this was a one base all in. He knew the Nexus was kind of late for Classic, but he didn't know it was super all in. And yet Haas played the safest you possibly could play. Like, so damned safe. It's almost insane how safe he played, right? So to do that against Classic is kind of brave in of itself, because if you don't actually think he's committing, what if he's going a Nexus and probing? A lot of players would have been greedier. But Haas was like, no. Let's make 100% sure I don't die. And we got this. The Adepts are trying to come in. He's looking for the Disruptor shot. Classic on 21 workers right now. Hopefully that's not me lagging. Could be someone else. If anyone else getting sound looping. If you're getting sound issues, usually refresh your browser, close your browser, change, and maybe reopen your browser, that sort of thing. Sometimes there's weird issues with browsercation, whatever else. So there's a Colossus here. Colossus can break force fields, but yeah, the Immortals, if they can close the distance, it'll be good. The Adepts are very tanky, though. I mean, 4 shield batteries. This is huge defensive power. Ready for Haas. He's in a fantastic position right now, guys. He really is in a fantastic position, and it seems to be me lagging right now. Oh, no. Oh, no. Picks up the Disruptor to disable it even before it can shoot. He's going to have to pick it up again, and he does. Cancels that shot midair. The battery overcharge plus a wall of Immortals and Stalkers. The probes even pulled into this. Colossus going completely all in. Classic's like, Colossus Adept. The Immortals tried to go after the Colossus. He picks it up and saves it. Great micro from Classic, but his tools are just not as powerful. Haas there building a fantastic situation for himself. GG, well played, goes to the grand final.